So that's just a flavour of what's coming up during this coming season. A series that's represented by 16 nations. And on pole position for this evening's first race, Ernst Kirschmeyer for Bahrain Motorsports, with Eric Chung alongside. Pierre Nelson and Thomas Gossner take the second row, with Christian Kinch and Ken Abe on the third row. An interesting qualifying session, and those, as I mentioned earlier, are not the order that they cross the line in, with the penalties for grid penalties for a performance handicap kicking in for this race. Tanny Hanna is 7th on the grid, with Gideon 8th. James Valand, last night's winner, 9th, and Herv Mooley 10th on the grid. Karina Gossner had a race to forget last night, as did Peter Christensen, the two of them getting together and ending up in the gravel traps. Matthias Moser and Tommy Lindroff fill the next row, with Agatha Smolka, the winner of the AM category, and Laurent Demus on the row behind, and von Scheltmer starting at the back, courtesy of the fact that he rather badly damaged his car last night in an incident with Murat Kuharoglu, and under the rules he starts in a new car, starting at the back of the grid, minus his infamous shark's teeth. So good to see Fons on the grid. Sadly, Murat Kuharoglu is not going to make it. So an interesting grid, and alongside me, we're going to have a chat to Nico in just a few moments. Before that, a short trade. That's just a flavour of some of the things that have been going on over this weekend here at the Bahrain International Circuit. Not only the Ferrari Challenge Europe, but also the Ferrari XX and F1 Clienti have been running on the circuit. It's been so spectacular. It's Bahrain, it's Coppa Shell Race 2 for Ferrari Challenge Europe. The sun is setting over the Sakhir race circuit. The floodlights, excellent floodlights, it looks like daylight around the place. The cars are lined up behind the Hublot safety car, ready to go. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we had qualifying earlier this afternoon, and drivers qualified, but those who finished on the podium yesterday incurred grid penalties as a result of a performance handicap rule that has been brought in fresh for 2019. That means that yesterday's winner, James Valence, despite putting the fastest time in today's starts way back down in 9th position. Tanny Hanna starts in 7th position, and he was 2nd. And Christian Kinch, who finished 3rd, lines up 5th on the grid. Our pole sitter, Ernst Kirschmeyer, who has Eric Chung alongside. And then the highest qualifying AM category is Per Nielsen with Thomas Gossner.
Hi, very happy to get my 2nd consecutive pole position here in Bahrain. It was very tough today. My first flyer, I was down half a tenth at the end of the lap. and pushed really hard on the second lap. I was down for part of that lap, but managed to eke out pole by I think about 10th and a half. Very happy to be here in Bahrain. Forza Ferrari.
Yeah, really good to see James Whalen doing so well here in Bahrain, clearly having a really good time of it. So on the formation lap, just before we get things going, it's time for me to introduce my co-presenter. It's the birthday boy, Miguel Molina. I'm not going to say how many, but you've moved into a new decade, haven't you?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm turning 30.
Oh, I thought it was 40. Oh, okay, no, that's fine then.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to have you here. You having an enjoyable weekend here in
yeah,
Bahrain?
thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really enjoying. It's a really nice place to have a race, and actually, hopefully, we have a more action than more action than yesterday. But I think it will be a good one.
Yeah, so you were co-commentating on the Trofeo Pirelli race yesterday, which was quite spaced out. This particular race, the Coppa Shell Series, a little bit too much action, I think
too
we'll
much
find.
action. But let's hope that today we have a more clear,
a little bit cleaner,
and enjoyable race.
So yes, we only got a handful of laps in without it being behind the safety car on yesterday evening's race.
Luckily, all the drivers were fine, and
absolutely,
that was the most important thing.
And that's all that matters ultimately at the end of the day. But with this new system of the performance handicap, obviously we've got faster drivers back in the pack. It is a recipe for excitement, isn't it?
Yeah. This will give a lot of action as well, because for sure the guys who score points and who score podiums and winning yesterday, they will have to perform a bit better today to try to catch up some good positions, and this for sure will give us a big show and quite a good of overtakings for sure.
And hopefully not too many cars pointing in the wrong direction. We also had a number of cars that fell foul of the track borders, going off the edge of the track and getting penalised for that during the qualifying earlier. Hopefully none of that in this race. We're getting ready to go. The safety car is backing them up. The cars are side by side and the tension is building. So they come onto the start-finish line. The Hublot safety car ducks off into the pit lane. The red lights are on. As soon as those lights go off, we'll be racing. The cars are picking up pace. Headlights are blazing. Heading towards us, it's Ernst Kirschmeyer on pole position with Eric Chung alongside, and the lights are out. The cars fan out. It's 30 minutes of racing for the Coppa Shell Race 2 as the sun goes down at Bahrain, and Ernst Kirschmeyer has got that line into the first corner, right down onto the inside with Eric Chung on the outside, and we've got a spinner. It's Thomas Golsner and Eric Chung who have spun out. Eric Chung pointing the wrong way. What a shame. And James Whalen has got caught up as well, last night's winner. In the meantime, Ernst Kirschmeyer has used all of that to get himself some distance well ahead with Per Nielsen now in second place. James Whalen there, he's up on the grass, looks like his race is over. So Ernst Kirschmeyer in the lead. And we've got another spinner there. Now who's that in the yellow car? Can't see who that is. What a shame, there's two cars, and that looks like Agatha Smolka to me. Is that Agatha Smolka who's got smoke coming from the car? And that is Gideon, who's also involved there. That was the other car. That's the kind of messy first lap that we didn't want, isn't it?
We were talking about this. We hope for no so many incidents, but right now we had some cars pointing in the wrong directions.
So yeah, is this possibly as a result of you've got fast cars mixed in with the slower cars? You know, is this the kind of thing that is going to happen when you have that mix of drivers?
Well, here we have the replay. Let's see what happened. I think this is the first corner with Chung. Yeah.
Yeah, and just turned straight around his. So he has rejoined further back down the grid, but he's got damage, hasn't he? And that is not a great position to be in a crowded track. That's got to be scary to park there, facing with cars racing towards you. And here's another replay, looking back. And oh, you hear the clatter, and that's James Bayland. And we have a safety car being deployed. So it looks like the race is going to be cautioned. Yet another safety car. Oh dear, this is becoming a running theme for the Coppa Shell, isn't it? Safety car is out, the cars are brought down. And what a shame, last night's AM winner, Agatha Smoker, and the car definitely looking the worse for wear. She was so excited last night on the podium. What a disappointment that she ends up having been involved in that accident. And her afternoon, in fact, her evening is over. So the safety car is deployed. Time to take breath. There's James Bayland, last night's pro winner. So we've lost both the Shell winner and the AM winner from last night in incidents at the start of this. And James will be very disappointed with that.
Yes, that is what we were talking about. To start a bit behind in the middle of the pack is not so easy as starting in the first rows. So that's probably compromised a bit the start, and that's why they were having this contact.
So it's the clear-up operation. It didn't look like there was too much mess around the place. The safety car for driver safety as much as just clearing debris from the track. So you can see there Ernst Kirschmeier, the leading Shell contender, with Thomas Goschner. He's having a good evening. In second place, Christian Kinch, who finished third in the Shell category yesterday, is running third on the track here, and Tani Hanna in fourth place. So the safety car just picking them up, and this period of time, I guess you're trying to keep heat in the tyres, keep the brakes warm. What we found yesterday, I think when we restarted after a safety car period, is we then went on and had another accident quite shortly afterwards, the Murat Kuharuglu and von Scheltemaxton, and possibly as a cause of cold brakes. So I'm guessing this period of time is really important.
Yeah, it's really important, especially to keep the tire temperatures on the right time and the right temperature. So that's the most important thing, to try to zigzag a bit in the track and keep the temperature on the tires, and that will help for sure in the restart. So probably if you have no possibilities of warming up, this will for sure compromise in the first corners.
Yeah, and we saw a replay of the Eric Chung spin, and it looks like he had cut across Thomas Goschner, and then the Agatha Schmoker, poor old Aggie there, looking despondent, sat there just pondering what might have been. So yeah, two separate incidents, and not a lot to show for it for Agatha Smoker, apart from a seriously damaged car. So yes, we talked about keeping the temperature in the tires, temperature in the brakes, and just looking, does the track condition change as the sun sets and it gets cooler?
Yeah, that's the same condition like yesterday when we in the Trofeo Pirelli was doing the sunset race. The temperature is going down, and this is compromising as well the feeling on the car and the grip level. So that is something that the drivers has to taking in account on finding the good grip of the car and of the race track. So for sure is something to take a look.
And that's I think it's Eric Chung, isn't it? Yes, the grit issue also added to by the fact that there's a layer of sand on the track as well. Obviously, we're in a desert.
Yes, so today we have much more wind than yesterday, and this for sure is also putting some more sand on the track, especially on where the offline. And this when you are overtaking, or when you are doing a small mistakes that you lose the proper line, is also quite difficult situation.
Good. Well, that's just the penalty of having a race in the desert. And I read earlier that they actually put an adhesive on the sand to stop it from blowing onto the circuit. I mean, there's nothing that gets in the way of racing, is there? We have been informed that the safety car is coming in very, very shortly, which is great news, because we still have 23 minutes of this race left, and a lot of the drivers want to get on with it because the Coppa Shell Series is definitely a little bit short on the racing front this weekend. Lots of testing, lots of qualifying, not a lot of racing. So very, very shortly the safety car is going to be in and we're going to be going racing again. So here we can see them snaking around, getting ready to go. Yellows are still out, the safety car is still out, and he's going to duck into the pit lane very shortly, I have no doubt at all. And as the light starts to fade, the amazing daylight floodlights of the Bahrain International Circuit here in Sakir kick in, and it still looks like daylight. So the drivers just gathering themselves together. The safety car will back them up, but then pull away, and it'll be down to Ernst Kirschmeier to control the pace. You can see that view with the camera in Eric Chung's car, looking out the back of his car. Eric Chung, as a result of that earlier spin, loitering back down in 14th position. And he's got it all to do again after such a good qualifying session. Looks like we've lost Gideon, Agatha Smoker, and James Valand. Those are the three that we've lost from the race. The rest are in the queue and ready to go racing. 21 minutes left, and we are very, very close to receiving that green flag. Just there's a last few turns to go. Always a bit deceptive. There's some grid markings on the track there, and I'm thinking, are they on the start-finish line? But they're not. Some different markings on a different part of the track. What a lovely shot that is, looking down across the desert at this incredible track. What an experience it's been. So there we have it, Ernst Kirschmeier with Thomas Goslar. Now, I guess Thomas needs to be really careful here not to let Ernst get the jump on him when that green flag comes out, because Ernst is going to be holding all the cards here, isn't he? And he can go when he wants to go.
Exactly. Once the safety car is going into the pit lane, the first car is holding the group, and everybody has to follow the speed. And yeah, they cannot pass. They cannot overtake until the start and finish line. So it's really important to keep the distance, but at the same time to be close enough to try to attack for the first corner.
To make the attack.
And yeah, that's the most, let's say, difficult thing in a safety car period.
And as you can see, the safety car has now pulled off, and Ernst Kirschmeier, he's gone already. That was brilliantly anticipated. He's gone, and Thomas Goslar, he's back on the gas as well, but he is under investigation because of the incident with Eric Chung earlier on in the race, so we need to bear that in mind when the final result is declared on this. But Thomas Goslar coming under pressure there in second place. And that looks like Christian Kinch to me, putting the pressure onto Thomas Goslar. But Thomas Goslar is just firmly closing the door. And then behind Christian Kinch, Tanny Hanna. Now he's a guy who's had some really good results here over this weekend, putting in some good times. And he is challenging hard for that third position from Christian Kinch. And looking round at the outside, and it's Tanny Hanna who's through into third place. Brilliant bit of driving, well anticipated, and a good restart. Now, Thomas Goslar going to be under threat from Tanny Hanna before too long, I would think, because Hanna looks like a man on a mission, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's having a good pace. With restart, he could keep a good, like we were talking about, to keep the tire temperature. So let's see how the first laps after the safety car will develop, but looks like he's on a mission.
So the first four cars breaking away a little bit from the rest of the pack. The leading AM runner is in fifth place, and that's Per Nielsen. We've got just under 19 minutes left to go. The cars come racing down the straight here, and looking great under these lights. Ernst Kirschmeier opens up his lead by about 1.8 seconds now, which is a quick shot at James Valand there, chatting about the incident, and a drive-through penalty for Thomas Goslar. So he has been adjudged to have been the cause of that incident with Eric Chung earlier on in the race. So a drive-through penalty for Thomas Goslar. What a shame. It's the best we've seen Thomas going in a while, but he's going to lose that second place. That's going to put him right down at the back of the field. he's just going to have such a tough time of it from way back there. I know, Miguel, you served in race control, haven't you?
Yeah.
It must be it's a thin line trying to work out who is at fault, and you know, you want to let the guys race, but you want to be strict.
Yeah, exactly, and we are there to help the race director, and it's really important to.
Sorry, just interrupt there.
Important.
Tanny Hanna, he's through on Thomas Gostner. He probably doesn't know that Thomas has got that penalty, but a great move from Tanny Hanna. He's going to be knocking on the door of Ernst Kirschmeier before too long. Anyway, carry on. You were talking about the time in race control.
Yeah, we are having. We are there for helping, as I said, to the race director, and we are giving our point of view about the decisions, but for sure we are there only for helping and trying to give us the.
And here we could just see a replay of that overtake. That was just so clean from Tanny Hanna.
Really good move.
I mean, was there an element of Thomas Gostner actually just allowing him through and not putting up a fight, do you think?
Probably also he knows that he has a drive-through, and probably he will beat in the. Yeah. He has 3 laps to make the drive-through, so he only passed by one time, so he's still two laps to complete the drive-through. Yeah, and that's going to be the most depressing news. But we've got another drive-through penalty that has come up. Who's that? Peter Christensen, and he's someone who's involved in the accident with Karina Gostner last night, and I don't know what the infringement is there, but Peter Christensen, who has also incurred a drive-through penalty. So that's 2 drive-through penalties. The stewards are definitely being very busy tonight, aren't they? They've got their work cut out, and it's good to see them. You know, I think that with this new system of qualifying, putting the faster cars back in the pack, you've got to be strict on this kind of thing, haven't you? Yeah, also it's really important to understand that the contacts are penalized after some contacts, because first of all we want to have a clean race. For sure, sometimes is you cannot avoid it, but we are trying to do this in the race control. But at the same time, we like that they are all racing, and they are also learning. A lot of rookies in this championship. So
and it's a steep learning curve.
and it's always, and you can understand some different movement maneuvers. So we also try to not teach them, but try to show them that what are the right things. Brilliant, yeah. And we've just seen Peter Christensen, who has just served that drive-through penalty. So that's I'd be interested to know what it was, because I don't think we actually saw anything on screen that kind of immediately flagged up as being an issue that might have caused him to have that penalty. But yeah, he's served that now, and Thomas Gostner still hasn't served his. I mean, there's no appealing something like that, is there? Once it's decided, it's decided. No, when a drive-through is decided, you need to go and do it. And like I said, he still has one more lap, and he has to do it. Otherwise, he will get the black flag. Yeah. Now, at the front of the race, we've still got Ernst Kirschmeier, who's leading from Tanny Hanna, and they are putting up a phenomenal pace. They are separated 0.003 of a second in lap times. That's the difference between them. So very, very consistent. Two greatly experienced drivers who just putting in some great times there and matching each other like for like, and pulling away from Thomas Gostner in 3rd place. And is that was that up there? Didn't see it. Looked like somebody pointing in the wrong direction, but here comes Thomas Gostner into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty. That promotes Christian Kinch up into 3rd place. So in and down the pit lane, I'm guessing there is a speed limit in that pit lane. Do you know what the speed limit is in this pit lane? It's 60. It's 60 kilometers, is it? Yeah. So through there, that's just going to put it right to the back of the field. And that's such a shame. So then we can see Per Nielsen
And who's that going slow? Oh, is that?
He has
That's Laurent Demus, isn't it? So we've had some contact somewhere along the way. That's Laurent Demus, who is crabbing quite badly. They are definitely not meant to steer from the rear like that, are they? And be interested to see what's happened to him. That's happened off camera. So here we have Ernst Kirchmeier with Tanny Hanna putting the heat on, looking up the inside, and Kirchmeier saying, no, I'm not having any of that today. But Tanny Hanna, he's a man on a mission this weekend. He was looking good last night in the race. He's looking good today, and using all of the track and a bit more. Needs to be quite careful there, not to be exceeding track limits. And here we have a move from Karina Gosa, and that is what happened. That's what happened with Laurent Demus. Collision between Karina Gosa and Laurent Demus. Karina Gosa, another one who's been in the walls all weekend, and contact there. What did that look like to you?
Well, it was difficult to evaluate. I think the guys in the race control, my colleague Davide, will have a small work to do now.
Yeah, so there's going to be some another late night looking at videos here. So Laurent Demus in the pits, and I can't imagine there's going to be any more action from him today. So this lead battle is looking good. Now Tanny Hanna there flashing the lights. Is that just kind of a way of distracting Ernst Kirchmeier?
I think it's just to put some pressure on Ernst. So and like this, he knows that he's behind and he's catching him. So it's just a bit of putting pressure on.
That is a lovely way of distracting him, and look at him here to now ducking to the inside. He's got a gap on the inside. It looks nice and clean. Now Ernst Kirchmeier, that looked like he just almost handed to him. Oh, and he's overcooked it. Tanny Hanna goes, it just misses his braking point into that corner way too fast. It looked like Ernst Kirchmeier was slowing, but in fact it was just Tanny Hanna going in so quickly, I think, wasn't it?
He braked so late, but he could keep it in the...
But he's done well to keep hold of that first place, because one of the things we've seen at Bahrain here this weekend is drivers who go into a corner too fast, they take the position, and on the next corner you get the switch back, and the second place driver just takes it straight back again. So great driving from Tanny Hanna. Bit on the edge, but he did it. He takes the lead. So the leader of the shell category at this moment is Tanny Hanna, but Ernst Kirchmeier right on his tail, ready to relieve him of that position at the moment of a sight of any mistake. We got Christian Kinch in third place, from Ken Abe in fourth, and Fons Scheltemaar in fifth position. Now Fons Scheltemaar doing really well, started at the back of the grid in that brand new car, and had to work his way through the field, so he's done very well there. And that is Per Nielsen off the track, looking like he's going slowly. Don't know what's happened there. We have the incident between Corinne Gosner and Laurent Demus under investigation by the stewards, so it will be interesting to see what happens there. We have a yellow flag at turn 4, so somebody has gone wayward up there. Is that the Per Nielsen one? Yes, it is Per Nielsen, who's come to a stop. He's had a weekend where he's been in the battles as well, so currently showing in 9th place. And we think he's probably had some kind of incident with Hervé Mouli, and the two of them, we think, have come together. So a bit of damage there, and both of them well out of the top 10. Having said that, Peter Christensen is now showing up as the leading AM driver, right back in 11th place, with Per Nielsen in second in the AM category in 12th place. So the battle for the AM title is quite a long way further down the grid. The Shell drivers are all up at the front. It's Tanny Hanna leading them away. Pulled out a 1.1, almost a 1.2, 1.1 second gap over Ernst Kirchmeier in second place, with Christian Kinch in third, and then a little way back to Ken Abe. And just out there, he's using a lot of the track. Is that an element of tyres going off, or
no? We could see that he is pushing a lot, and he's trying to build a gap on the second place.
Yeah. And I mean, he just wants to get that gap because he knows that Ernst Kirchmeier will be back in a moment's notice. There you see Peter Christensen, the leader of the AM category there, and he is down in 11th place, well clear of Per Nielsen now. So looking good for the And in fact, yeah. So Pierre Nelson is in the, yeah, he's stopped. Yeah, we just only realised he's actually stopped. I'm just looking at this. I don't know how this works, but most of the AM category drivers have actually stopped or pitted. And so I don't know how that works in terms of positions. Anyway, we're looking back at the front. Tani Hanna has got away a bit. Ernst Kirschmeier now coming under pressure from Christian Kinch. And Christian Kinch just kind of very slowly turning the heat up there. Could it be that those early laps from Ernst Kirschmeier have taken too much out of the tyres, and that's allowing Christian Kinch to close up on him?
Yeah, probably, yes. But it's clear that his catching is only 0.4 tenths of a second in behind. So for sure we will see soon some action here, and let's see if Christian Kinch can overtake Kirschmeier.
So Christian Kinch finished third in last night's Coppa Shell race, looking to go at least one place better in this race as he hunts down Ernst Kirschmeier, and Tani Hanna just disappears off into the distance. Tani Hanna, who finished second yesterday, and Hervé Mouli is into the pits, as is Laurent Demus, and he's on his out lap now. So Laurent Demus has, even though he's several laps down, he has actually put a fresher wheel on that. It didn't look like he was going anywhere after that incident, but
probably he repaired the car or something and tried to do some laps that he will help him to at least overtake one or two drivers that will finish second.
We're still showing a yellow flag at turn 4 as we look at battles throughout the field. We just saw Karina Gosner fighting with Eric Chung. So a number of small battles going on around, but the one we are focusing on is Ernst Kirschmeier and Christian Kinch battling for that second place, with Ken Abe just there, poised, ready to pick up the pieces should anything happen to the two of them. Now we have that interesting situation where we only have one AM car still running on the track, that being Peter Christensen. So I'm guessing that oh no, of course, Laurent Demus rejoining obviously changes that, doesn't it? When I last looked, he was the only one that was running, but of course, Laurent Demus has rejoined the race. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get himself back into a podium position as we see Karine Gosner and Eric Chung going side by side. And it's Eric Chung who has worked his way past Karine Gosner. Nice and clean there. Karine Gosner down into 6th place, and Eric into 7th place. Eric Chung taking the 6th place away.
Yeah, he's doing quite a good recover from the crash at the beginning, and he's already 6th position, and he will score some good points.
He must be feeling very frustrated because starting the race on the front row, he must have thought he could have won this. Now look at that, that's a nice replay. A good clean move, that's what we like to see. We haven't seen many of those in the Coppa Shell recently. Good clean driving, look at that for an onboard shot. And looks like, yeah, Karina, did she miss her braking point, or did she just lock up? I mean, that was a bit of a wobble going into the corner, wasn't it?
She lost the good line, and that could help Eric Chung to overtake her.
Now looking here, it's we can see that Ernst Kirschmeier has now dropped back from Christian Kinch slightly, falling into the clutches of Ken Abe, and it looks like Ernst Kirschmeier is struggling a little bit compared to how he was doing earlier. We just had notification that the incident with Karina Gosner and with Laurent Demus will have no further action, deemed by the stewards to be a racing incident. We like to see that because we do like races to be decided on the track and not in the box, as the expression goes. So there you go, the battle for 2nd place. Christian Kinch, Ernst Kirschmeier and Ken Abe. And I have to say, Ken Abe looking the racier of the three, to be quite honest. He seems to have just found a bit of pace as Ernst Kirschmeier is kind of backing off a little bit from it. Still showing a yellow flag at turn 4. There's a stationary car there. But in the meantime, Tani Hanna has stretched himself out a 5-second lead at the front. And he's got 3 minutes and 20 seconds to keep hold of that. So just needs to keep it on the grey stuff and hope for nothing mechanical. No issues like that. And he is looking good for the race win. The incident that was between Per Nielsen and Herv Mooley will be investigated after the race. We knew there'd been something that happened between them. We haven't seen that much of it on screen, so that's something that will be investigated after the race. Some nervous faces there as we approach the last, or below the last 3 minutes of this race, and as the light fades over this Bahrain international circuit. It's Tani Hanna in the lead, looking good, but our eyes are on this battle for second place. Christian Kinch holding on, and there is Ken Abe taking a look up the inside of Ernst Kirschmeier. Nothing going on there. Ernst Kirschmeier saying no thank you, not today, and Ken Abe just hanging the back end out slightly, pushing so hard on this track where the grip is maybe not as much as he had hoped for, and the gap has opened right up. What do you think happened with Ken Abe there?
Well, actually, I think I'm not sure, because there were some yellow flags as well there. So I don't know if he saw that the yellow flags were showing, but it was quite commit to overtake, and this could cost him some penalty if he overtook.
Okay, so in the red flag area, so which is maybe
flag,
why
yeah.
Yellow flag area, yeah, which is why he backed right off. So Ken Abe's got it all to do again. He's looking at the back of Ernst Kirschmeier again. He's got a minute and a half to get past him. Can he do that? Looking as racy as ever, that gorgeous blue car under these lights. Ernst Kirschmeier just got to defend as best he can. Meanwhile, back down the field, Laurent Demus has made it into second place of the AM category. There was me writing him off, and his race was over. Doing those repairs was worthwhile. He's in 7th place on the road. Peter Christensen in 1st place on the road. I'm guessing Per Nielsen, even though he's stopped out on track, I'm guessing that he will pick up the 3rd podium position, even though he's not still running as the last of the AM drivers to still be running of that group. Here we can see the battle for second place rages on in the Shell category, and we are on to the last lap. Tani Hanna takes that final lap, and it's now or never for Ken Abe on Ernst Kirschmeier for that 3rd place. Looks like Christian Kinch has managed to pull out enough space to secure himself 2nd place, so it's all about 3rd place now. These two drivers, they've only got a handful of laps, and Ken Abe, can he do it? It's looking up on the inside, a gap, but Ernst Kirschmeier, he probably just needs to make that 488 as wide as possible, doesn't he?
Yeah, because now in the last lap he has to defend all the corners almost. So we'll see what happens.
So we've only got a handful of corners to go. You can see the stadium in the background. Ken Abe putting the pressure on, trying everything to distract. What we don't want is a collision. We don't want them coming together. Looks like he could just hold him off, Ernst Kirschmeier. He's just using all of the track and more. There's Tani Hanna, who's just on his final lap still, past that grid that just throws us every time, with a nice big gap over Christian Kinch in 2nd place. Surely Kinch has 2nd place sewn up nicely now, so eyes still on that 3rd place as we go into these last few corners of that lap. We can see Ken Abe, he's right on it now, right on the tail of Ernst Kirschmeier. A big long gap from the leader, a dominant display from Tani Hanna. He is having a fabulous weekend. Surely it's all over. Ken Abe has dropped back now. He knows that there's probably not a lot he can do. We're coming into the last few corners of this race, the Coppa Shell race, under the lights here at Bahrain International Circuit in Sakhir. Look how far ahead Tani Hanna is. He's just in a nice cruise all on his own. A proper boring race for him, but not boring number of the points that he's going to get. He comes out of the final corner, lights are flashing. He takes that checkered flag. The winner of Coppa Shell Race 2, it's Tani Hanna, and it goes with his 2nd place from last night. A great points haul. Christian Kinch crosses the line in second place, and Ernst Kirschmeier just holds on to that third place from Ken Abe in fourth. A great race for Tani Hanna, absolute dominance, and a really, really good result from him. Be really interested to see how he does in Valencia, because of course he'll now be taking another grid penalty into the next race. Shouldn't call it a penalty, a grid drop, a performance penalty. So there you have it. Tani Hanna, 13 laps on the track, and after 30 minutes he wins. And here comes flashing the lights, that's Peter Christensen, the winner of the AM category. Brilliant drive from him, just keeping out of trouble, and he actually pipped Matthias Moser for 10th place on the track. So the winner of the AM category, Peter Christensen, with Laurent Demus having a good weekend, coming home in 12th. And I'm guessing Per Nielsen will get that third place position, even though he wasn't running at the checkered flag. So here we go on the slowdown lap. Tani Hanna will be very, very happy with that. An interesting race. Good to see not too much happening.
Yeah,
I mean, we had a couple of drive-throughs, but...
Yeah, and at least they enjoyed a bit more than yesterday, for sure.
They got a lot more laps in than
exactly.
yesterday.
So that was a good sign, and was a good race.
Yeah, very good race. So Tani Hanna there, looking very, very happy indeed. On his lap of honor, with the Lebanese flag out of the window. Really, really happy there. And there's Christian Kinch. He's got to be happy with that. Second place to go with his third from last night. So, yeah, really good run from him. So there we go. There's our winner of the Coppa Shell Championship for the Ferrari Challenge for this round here in Bahrain. And there is Peter Christensen, the winner of the AM category. And he did well, well, I would say keeping out of trouble, but he did have a little bit of a scuffle early on, but he got it all back together to win the AM category. So a better night for him than he had last night, that is for sure. Ferrari 488 coming to a halt. Thank you, Miguel, for joining me.
Thank you
in this
very
race.
much.
Been good to have you here. Good luck. Are you in the steward's room for the next race?
Yeah, for the next race I will be there.
So yeah, we'll be doing the swap for Davide. So yeah, good luck with that.
Good.
Have
Thank
a
you very
nice
much.
birthday as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll speak to you later. So there you have it. We say goodbye to Miguel as he disappears back off up to the steward's room and reviews all that's been going on in that race. Tani Hanna, he's the happiest one in Bahrain at the moment. Christian Kinch is going to second. Onto the bonnet of the car goes Tani Hanna. Look at that, waving the Lebanese flag. Got to be a good feeling here, the atmosphere, and to win this iconic Bahrain circuit. Just a wonderful thing. For Formula Racing, the incredible Formula Racing team, what a record they have in the Ferrari Challenge Europe. There he is, a happy man is Tani Hanna, stood on the bonnet of his car, and a good weekend's work. And here comes Christian Kinch behind, into Parc Fermé, ready for podium celebrations. So, an interesting race. It was the first race where we've seen the implementation of the performance handicap. Don't think it did us any harm. There were a few incidences. Some could possibly argue that the performance handicap grid positions might have added to those. Who knows? It was a good race, but there was no doubt in it. Tani Hanna, he had it in hand, didn't he? He just came through from a 7th position on the grid. He had work to do. It wasn't just an easy flag-to-flag win. And there is Peter Christensen, another happy man. Kept reasonably out of trouble. For Formula Racing as well, winning the AM category. And he will be taking the top step of the podium for that particular one. So a good race, and that's it for the Coppa Shell cars for this particular round. They'll be back in Valencia in a few weeks' time. We're going to have a look at the highlights of the race now, so sit back and take a look. So like last night's race, it was an event that had a fair bit of excitement in it and a few incidents and safety cars. There you see the results. Tanny Hanna is the winner for the Shell category, with Christian Kinch in second and Ernst Kirschmeier in second. We're getting ready for the podium celebrations coming up very, very shortly. So it'll be the Shell category podium that'll be up first, and there should be smiles all around there. You can see the winning cars. We are missing the Per Nilsson car. Obviously he didn't finish the race, he's not in Parc Fermé. We're not sure how that is going to play out when it comes to positions and podiums. We will see what happens there. There's the official classification. Tanny Hanna taking the win for Formula Racing, and Christian Kinch in second, Ernst Kirschmeier in third place, and we will be seeing them very, very shortly on the podium. As you can see, it's been an amazing weekend here in Bahrain. We've still got one more race to go, the Trofeo Pirelli race, which will be coming up very, very shortly. In the meantime, here are a few images from around the Bahrain International Circuit here in Sakhir. Shots there in the sunshine and then under the lights here in Bahrain. And there you go, third place on the podium, Ernst Kirschmeier, and there's a very happy Christian Kinch. He's always got a smile, has Christian, and he's in second place. And there's your winner, jubilant, it's Tanny Hanna, bouncing up and down. He is one happy man, and yes, and we are going to get ready for the So the winner, Tanny Hanna there, taking the applause. Good to see three smiling faces in there. So Tanny Hanna just receiving, no, that's not him, that's Ernst Kirschmeier receiving his third place trophy. In reverse order, obviously. That's Christian Kinch receiving second place. Make a big show of it, why don't you? And Tanny Hanna with the winning trophy. A happy man. He's a driver who had a fairly mixed year last year, but looking like a man on a mission for 2019. Surely one to watch in the Coppa Shell Series. I expect he is going to be somewhere near, or if not totally, at the top of the points after this weekend. And we will be looking very closely at how he does in Valencia. Posing for photographs, trophies held high. It's been a great race for the Coppa Shell drivers. And here comes the lemonade, rose water, whatever it is that they're spraying. I'm just happy to be in the commentary box where I'm not going to get covered in that stuff. There we go, there's the points championship, 38 points. That's a good lead from Christian Kinch with 28 points. James Valand, such a shame he had a very disappointing race today because he hasn't been able to add to his 23 points that he earned yesterday, and of course the point for pole position today. A slow-mo picture there of Ernst Kirschmeyer in his distinctive yellow and black Bahrain Motorsport Ferrari 488, looking resplendent with the headlights on. And there, slow-mo Christian Kinch in the Gom Motorsport 488. Again, looking gorgeous under these lights. The lights just make the cars look even more spectacular. And there's Tani Hanna, the winner of the Coppa Shell category. And he is one very happy man tonight. Right, we've got the second podium celebration. So Peter Christensen, Lauren Demus, and Per Nielsen. Not sure whether Per Nielsen is going to make it onto there, but we will find out very, very shortly. So as they make their way onto the podium, that's a great shot from, I don't know if it's the helicopter or whether it's the drone, but whatever it is, it's a great shot of the Bahrain circuit with the desert in the background. So atmospheric, it's great to be here. So yes, second place in the AM category as Lauren Demus, and the winner after a forgettable evening yesterday, he's turned it around. It's Peter Christensen, the winner in the AM category. And so we wait for the Denmark national anthem. So that's the formalities done, and missing third place Per Nielsen, who I believe is currently reporting to the stewards along with Herv Mooley, discussing that incident. But back on the podium, second place, Lauren Demus lifts the trophy high, and there's your winner of the AM category. Finished 10th on the road, but he is the AM winner, Peter Christensen. They posed for the photograph, and there's a trophy for the winning team. There we go. Smiles around, and a successful evening for the Coppa Shell Series. That's been really good to see. There we go. The bubbly goes flying. Everybody gets in a mess. And those that are far enough away that are out of the range can heckle from a distance. There we go. Let's have a shower. Why don't you? Brilliant stuff. Okay, so there you have it. Podium presentation's done. We've got our winners. There's the Drivers' Championship for the AM category. Lauren Demus is at the top of the table with a healthy 32 points. Agatha Smolka didn't have a great race today, but those 23 points from yesterday puts her in second place. And Peter Christensen, he's come out of it after a rubbish day yesterday, looking good in third place in the points. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to be back in less than an hour, I do believe, for the Trofeo Pirelli race. It's under floodlights. It's going to be exciting. Don't miss it. Look forward to seeing you then. Take care, and we'll see you in a bit.